Can't believe it's almost been 2 years, Noah.
Yeah, of course. We had to finish college, which we fortunately did.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. By the way, I like this lighting setup. It feels so professional, you know?
Of course.
So, where'd you get these? You know, these lights. Where'd you get them?
Oh, remember that photo studio from down the
Yeah.
lane? I had about to go pay them a visit.
You what? Good job. Hi, I am Noah, and this is Anxious Entertainment. And before I would like to say anything else, I would like to welcome you back to our channel and our Facebook page. And it's been so long, so long. It has been a long 2 years since our last major video, which was the spaceship video, uploaded last December 31, 2021. So, ancient history at this point. You might have noticed that there was a 20-second video of a live-action Madara cosplay put in a VFX environment, and that was a collaboration between us at Anxious Entertainment and Espacio. And I think it's great. I mean, it's the first in Cagayan de Oro, I think, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. This video will signify a milestone in Anxious Entertainment because we're venturing on to something that we haven't done before, which is visual effects and, you know, mixing visual effects with live action shots. Now this video will focus more on the highlights, on the behind the scenes on the Madara video, which I think is important to document our progress as a team, and of course to share what our experience was, because it took me around 2 to 3 weeks full of trial and error to make the entire video, including the sound and the music. So without further ado, let's hop in. I forgot we broke the chair. We first got our live action shots with a green screen background and some lights. We had an amazing time filming. I would like to give credit where credit is due, so the cosplay outfit was made by Rem, and the makeup was done by Miko, Jasper was the one who operated the camera, and Nate helped me with some additional shot ideas, especially the landing shot, which was not part of the initial plan. After our shoot with our very own Espacio donning the Madara cosplay outfit, I exported keyed out versions of the shots for my use in Blender and imported them as images on planes. Some of these shots were just placeholders, but others were already color graded to be rendered directly through Blender. Once inside Blender, I started making the environment. I used geometry nodes for the plane that everyone will be standing on, and placed cubes on certain spots which will be replaced by samurai warriors. To guide where the cubes and samurai will pop up and not the entire 25 square kilometer map, I used some cubes and made this short node setup. The idea is to only put samurai near or in the area of these guides. To save RAM and time, I made sure to add switches that would only show the samurai and the more detailed plane in the renders. The samurai were downloaded for free from a popular online 3D marketplace. It had no texture, so I added them myself using BlenderKit. I then manually posed it with one hand holding a long weapon. This one samurai mesh was then instanced into the places the cubes were in. This is where I appreciated instancing because I was able to show thousands of samurai in my 8GB RAM MacBook Air, which I used during the shoot for quick visualization. To make it a little more interesting, I went ahead and made some additional banners and simulated them to flow with some wind. For the samurai, I made 3 more copies and varied the flags that were placed on their backs to break the sense of uniformity among all of them. During the planning phase, I was inspired by that scene in Naruto in the desert with Madara and the meteor, so I made sure to insert those rock formations. With the same technique of instancing, I was able to create those standing rocks from just one rock mesh that I got from BlenderKit, and place these instances around where the camera can see them. I did not need to fill the map as the cameras I will be placing are constrained mostly along the Y and Z axes. At least I can save a bit of RAM for the bigger stuff in the video. The biggest Blender made shot in the video was the one where Madara lands on the ground. After meddling with the physics and smoke simulations for pretty much the second time in my life, I was able to create a landing that I was happy with. After tweaking some materials to make the composition more cohesive, I set up different cameras, which is one for each shot. I figured it was better this way just in case I need to re-render certain angles. One of them was placed on a curve, and I'd like to think of it as one of those rails or cranes in real-life filming. I get that CG-heavy movies have more freedom to place cameras, but there's something realistic feeling about constricting cameras to positions that are plausible in real life. To make sure that the rendered image sequence might look good, I would render some images from different parts of the sequence. Once I was happy with it, I set up the rest of the render settings. To make the render a tad more realistic, I made sure to add some ambient occlusion through Blender's own compositor. Finally, the output color space was changed to filmic log. I prefer that for this project to practice working with VFX log footage, as well as give me more flexibility matching the shots we took using the camera, which was also shot in log. In Davinci Resolve, I placed the sequence of shots in the timeline. What you see here is the second version of the sequence, which we believe is superior to the first one. In the Fusion tab, I was playing with the shots and reinserted Madara in the compositor if needed. Here, you can see that one shot was camera tracked as if it was a real shot, and then I placed Madara using a 3D image transform node. The node setup does feel intimidating, especially to the beginners, but all this just means that I wanted the original video to have removed green screen background, then color corrected, then burned and dodged on certain places to make it blend with the 3D environment. Compositing is like photoshopping, but for video after all. Some of these nodes exist but were not activated. I could delete them, but I kept them there just in case I want to experiment with the look in the future. I would like to highlight the shot. At first, I thought this was the easiest shot to work with. Quite the opposite happened. Because there was no eye contacts available during the shoot, I had to manually match the movement and the blurring of the eye. Also, since it is difficult for the computer to match move as well as render another smoke sim, I had to make do with using an animated fast noise and match the impact smoke's color. I also used another fast noise to make the energy effect. Everything else was just a walk in the park, especially the meteor shot, with just a camera shake node added in the color page for effect. After exporting the video, I imported it in GarageBand for Mac and started assembling sound effects, music, and voices. Some of the sound effects could be found in Apple's built-in library, but since this is no Logic Pro, I went looking for other sounds elsewhere. The music was made in the app as well. Tweaks, plugin downloads, and a few hours of contemplation later, I exported the final sound sequence and merged with the video one final time and got the final result.
Soul colors. 神の力を見せてあげる。
There were a lot of lessons that we've learned throughout making this video. For example, the first one, if you plan to make a VFX shot that is related to outdoors, so for example the desert, you must try your best to shoot outside where the sky and all the ambient lighting will match your desert scene. If you do that, everything else will be more realistic. Number 2, just because your computer can handle huge scenes, it doesn't mean you have to maximize it early on. There might be some moments where some additional stuff may be needed, and it may be too late because you made a huge environment and didn't become careful in managing those files. So using instances instead of duplicates can help you a long way, especially if the scene can work on repeated things with just some slight variation in terms of scaling and rotation. And third, I might use my learnings in making VFX in this video to possibly making a short film, in Cagayan de Oro. or making Cagayan de Oro a little more futuristic, maybe visualizing the city as something that still exists in a dream. Who knows, right? Who knows? The possibilities are endless, especially with VFX. So that's it for our video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully it might entice you to collaborate with us in making some really cool projects. Nate and I have just finished college and are still finding our footing, but rest assured that Hanktious is here to stay. Until the next video, see you soon.